Welcome back to Crochet Social. Today's tutorial is part 2 of our Granny Square series. In the first video I showed you how to finish a round using hidden joins for a clean seamless look. In this part we're going to dive into colour changes, which is this one here. I love this. I love using these different kind of clashing colours. There's lots of different ways in which to change a colour in crochet, and I'm going to walk you through several different methods so you can find the one that feels the most natural and gives you the finish that you like best. And in one place, one video, how to do it, well, how I do it, can only be a good thing. So I have my 3 colours. Today I'm going to use DK yarn because it's what I've got the most fun colours in. And if you go watch the first video, part 1, it talks more about what we're doing inside the magic ring, the different stitches. So if you watch that first for the basics of understanding how to do a square, and then come back and then you can have a look at how the different ways you can join colours. So let's get started. So the first round we are going to do a magic ring. For those of you that would like to watch a magic ring again, I start my tail off to the left and come over to the right. I then bring it down straight, come across with an X, and I pinch that X with my thumb to keep it all, and then I hold it with my little finger just there. So it's all nice and held together. Under the first one, grab the second one. I turn my hand as I do this, and then I twist. Can you see how I've taken that and I've twisted it? It kind of locks it into place, and then I try and grab that yarn and pull it through, and then it's all locked. I don't have to worry. So that counts as a chain. That's two, and that's 3. And then it is 2 double crochets into that magic ring, chain 2, and then we're doing the 3 double crochets in American terms and 3 trebles in English terms. 3, chain 2 for a corner, and again same thing, 3 double crochets or 3 trebles in English if you prefer. I'm doing this for those that you know how to do a granny square, you just want a video showing you how to do different changes of stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, one more. 1, 2, 3. Pull it tight. So even though I'm not worried about my hidden join, I still start in a corner. But for this, because I'm changing colour, I'm literally just going to chain 2, find the top of that chain that I did at the beginning, and do a slip stitch into it like that, and then pull through again to tie it off. Get my scissors. I'm going to leave a nice long tail and pull it through. So you're going to see how long I leave my tails. I leave them very long so that I've got a lot to work with to sew back in later. I've had one of my very early blankets fall apart on me, and I couldn't put it back together. So I like to leave really long tails, and I'll weave this tail around twice and then back on itself twice. So it does leave a lot of yarn in the center, but that's just how I like it. So I would normally sew these in, but I'm not going to today. I'm going to leave them just so you can see where the tails are. So sometimes I like to move around back on myself so I don't have all the joins in one place, so that if I'm doing color changes, when I weave in my yarn, it's not all bulked into one corner. So today we're going to go into this corner. So this is version 1 of how to do it. So I sometimes, it depends what I'm doing, what I prefer. So I sometimes like to make a slip knot on my hook, put my hook through the chain space of where I want to start, pull it on, and then do a chain. and that's locked in, and I pull it so that the knot of the slip knot is at the back of the work. Chain 2, and then you're doing a normal granny square with color changes. Remember, for me, I don't chain between jumping between corners. I prefer the tighter, kind of firmer look to a granny square. I always do chain 2 in a corner though. So there is the first part, one side and a corner. So this was chain, so the attaching chain that I did, then an extra 2 chains counts as a stitch. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to show you again how to do this one. So we make a slip knot with our hook. We leave a little bit of a loop. I'm going to jump back corner to here, get my loop, firm it up on my hook, not too tight, not too loose, it needs to be able to move. I'm going to bring it through that corner, do a chain, tighten that chain just a little bit, but also bring that knot to the back. So I give the tail a little bit of a tug just to bring it to the back, and then I just chain 2 as normal for, I'm not getting the tails today, for 2 double crochets. Don't do a chain if you want to copy me, and then 3 double crochets or 3 trebles into this corner, chain 2, and then repeat the granny stitch again, which is 3 double crochets or 3 trebles together in the same stitch or space. And then I jump to the next corner. I don't do, oh, I meant to do a yarn over, don't do a chain. What you might find is that it likes to curl a little bit. It just needs a bit of a flatten out when you've done a round. 1, 2, 3. And jump to the next corner. Chain 2. Finish off this corner. And then jump to the next corner, and it's our last corner, so it's just 3 double crochets or 3 treble crochets for a granny stitch, chain 2, find the top. So there's the top of your end stitch on that granny, middle one, and then this is where we're going to put our slip stitch into. Remember, try and get both parts of that top chain. Pull this through, tighten off that knot, give yourself a lovely tail to sew in later, and then give it a little flatten and a hand kind of blocking. So there's wet blocking and dry blocking, and dry blocking is literally you push it down, you give it a stretch and a flatten, and then you have the start of your square. And you'll find as you go round and round and adding yarn, you it stretches it out and moves it a bit. So I'm going to go on to my third colour and my second different join. So this one, I'm going to do a slip knot again. Pop your hook in. And this time you're going to yarn over your hook before you've even touched your work. And yarn over your hook, and I'm going to go back a corner again. And you're going to go into that corner, grab a loop, come through, and then you're going to treat this as if it is a double crochet. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. So this one gives you the illusion of that being a double crochet instead of it being a chain, which can look lovely if you've got yarn that really shows up how different chains look. So I'm going to do that again for you. Take all this out. So you have your slip knot on your hook. You have your slip knot on your hook. You're going to yarn over. You're going to hold it with your index finger. It will fall off if you don't hold it. Going into the corner back from where you finished last time, you're going to bring a loop through, yarn over, through two, yarn over, through two. And you're just going to finish the stitch as normal. Just like that. And then jump to the next space. Really do love a granny square that has clashing colours, and most places have a real wide variety of DK colours to choose from, so you can really go quite wild with your options of what colours you want to use. So as I said, this can be used for any crochet that you like. You can use it on any stitch. You can use it for any pattern. You can do it in rows. You can do both of them in rows if you want. Just pop it into a stitch. So I'm going to finish this round, and I will be back with you when I'm finished. So I've got to my corner where I started, and I just wanted to show you how you join for this part. So it's chain 2 because we're going to change colours, we're not going to increase. And then you do have what looks like a stitch, so you're going to go into the top of that, you're going to get both sides of that, and you're going to just bring it through, tighten it off, and sometimes it can stretch a little bit, so just pull that tail part, give yourself lots of space, lots of tail, so you can see how it has stretched a little bit. I've tried to bring it back. There we go. So that's that one. I've got my tail. There we go. So let's pick another colour. So I've got my my fourth colour from the next way of attaching. Now some people don't like having the slip knot straight away, so I'm going to go into the corner after, and some people, now this isn't everyone, some people just like to hang the yarn on their hook, bring it through, make the first chain with the tail, make the second chain with the working yarn, and then start crocheting. So this is what it looks like when it's a finished granny stitch. Now I don't find that this is secure enough for me. I rather have a knot. I'm going to show you again. This is a little fiddly. So hook through the space where you want to start your new colour, lay your yarn over your hook, bring it through, hold it all quite tight, and it can fall apart on you as well. Do the first chain with the tail, then do the second chain with working yarn and the third chain with working yarn, and then start your round. To me, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel, see, if I pull, it just happened. So if I pull my tail too much, it shrinks that stitch so much. It just doesn't feel like it's secure enough for me. Like this could quite easily come undone. I wanted to show you just so that you know that this is an option if you like it. Crochet is so dependent on what you like and prefer. So that is the third way of doing a join. So I thought during this tutorial I'll also show you what happens if you need to add your, if you've run out. So I thought I'd finish this little tutorial with how to join yarn together mid a round or a row if you have finished a ball and you need to start another ball, because as you grow with the squares and the rounds, you use more and more yarn per row. So I've run out of this purple, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my yarn from my new yarn from my ball, and I'm going to make a nice loop with a cross. So there's my cross. So I've my yarn from my ball is coming along, around, and then back over with my tail over the other side. And then I'm going to take my my tail from my work, and I'm going under the loop, over the cross, around the working yarn that's coming from the ball of wool, and then I'm coming back over and under that loop. So as you can see, we have this line here that comes round and then back over, and then your yarn from your work comes along, comes under, over, under, over, under. Then you grab your two ends and your two long pieces and you pull, and that makes a lovely knot. Now some people like, I like to just pull all four parts just to make sure it's snug. Some people like to trim these straight away. I don't. I feel like they come undone. So I'm going to leave them there. I'm going to do a couple of stitches and show you what I do when they pop up. So I do a granny stitch and they'll pop up quite quick, as you can see. So my knot has just appeared mid-stitch. So what I do is I find the tail that's closest and the working yarn, and it doesn't matter which one's which, and I'm going to leave the other tail just down. So I'm not touching this tail. I've got one tail and the working yarn, and I'm going to do a yarn over and pull both of those through those last two stitches, last two loops to finish my stitch, sorry. And I bring a loop out big enough that the tail comes with it. I leave the tail where it is, put my hook back in the loop and bring it back down, and just carry on doing my stitches. I'm going to go straight to the corner to show you. Straight to the corner. There we go. Like that. And as you can see, I have a tail that's coming out the top. If I turn it over, I have a tail that's coming out the bottom. I'll then weave these in. So I'll take one off to the left and one off to the right, and it can be either way around, whichever one I prefer. And I will weave those all the way across and then all the way back for as much tail as I've got. That's why I leave myself a nice long tail. So I'll weave it all the way along and then all the way back, and I might even come this way, and then the other one I'll come all the way here and all the way back, and so I know that they're overlapping and looking into each other and they won't come undone. So that is, you've got 3 different joins. My favourite is the first join with the slip knot down the bottom. I find that having the first tail down at the bottom is easier than having them both in the same place, but I do appreciate how neat and tidy doing a standing stitch can look, which is there. Just a little gappy at the top, so I might, the next time I did it, I'll just make sure it's a little tighter on the hook as I make it. And then the last one, this one, that I'm not fond of, but I'll go all the way around and we'll come back and we'll see what it looks like when you join it. I'm back at where we started for this round, just finishing off this granny stitch. And chain 2, because we're in a corner. find where we're meant to put our stitch in. Make sure we get both sides of that chain. Let's have a look again. So it's all gotten a bit tight. A little tricky. Let's have another go. Right, we want that part, and then we want that part. And I'm going to put it through. So because it got a little tight and short, it's been a bit difficult to get the yarn through. So there we go. There is the next join. So you can have lots of fun with this. You could so with the granny squares, with this, you could stop here. So I would add a round of pink purple to this one, and then you can join them together. You can just keep on going. So you can add another colour. You can have all different colours for your blanket for as big as you want it. So that is how you join colours.